サイゲームスウマ娘プリティーダービー。
食欲の秋がやってきた。王のを目いっぱい楽しむためにメニューいっぱい考えたからね。
Alright. Yeah, my name is Ein. We're here very briefly to see the end of
ウ
Virgo.
マ娘メーカーのレベル
Don't
が
have
上
that
が
much
ったって。見に行こ
for today, but we'll get it going. Alright, so we got about 10 hours. Is Virgo Cup. Runner history, I mean, I'm kind of already spoiling it for you what had occurred. But this Virgo Cup was surprising. To say the least, it was quite surprising. I wasn't expecting to get the outcome that I got. So let's do this together.
う。楽しかったよ。
As you can see, first, grabbing it. Amazing. Right, so let's watch that race.
礼を言わねえとな。サンキュー。
So immediately off the cuff, I was thinking I was going to get second, considering the favoritism. Got number 1 here, number 2 here, number 3 here, and then number 4. But I felt pretty confident that I was gonna get second, given the fact that I was number 4. So like stats-wise, even if I were to get stats stuck and they beat me by having way more speed than me in the final leg, I at least was going to outpace Samantha. And as long as I outpaced Samantha, I thought, hey, it's alright. We're continuing our bronze silver title streak. So let's start from the beginning. Dobbins Vodka. It hits the 1200, but it's mile A. Stamina, power is meh, and the wit is also meh. I think the most important thing is that now that AHHHH exists, wit really should be considered, because you need these things to proc. There are a lot of skills that would help, including on your left. But late surgers are gamblers to begin with, and this late surger is lacking let's pump some iron. It does have redshift and cut and drive. Actually, my vodka looks a lot like this. Okay. Hishiakemono. Got mile S, which is pretty good. However, the speed isn't 1200. Stamina doesn't hit 650, and since I did bring Nice Nature as a debuffer, this debuffing pace, she would run out of stamina by the end. Also, the wit is low. And aside from that, I mean, she does have 1 gold skill, so I suppose it didn't matter too much. Where it would matter is that she would run out of stamina to be able to do the final spurt. This is exactly the reason why my Summer Marazinski doesn't do anything in Champions Cup. She's just a glorified blocker that was made inefficiently. Alright, here's my Taiki shuttle. As you can see, it's really nothing to write home about. Like, my speed doesn't hit 1200, which I was panicking about. I had run out of time in the final year of the AHHHH scenario. However, my stamina is where it's supposed to be. My power hits the threshold of the 800. Actually, I have to check whether the other... Yes, so the other ones also hit their power and gut profile. The most important thing, though, is that I do have mile S, and my wit is closer to 1000. So there is a higher chance of me proccing my skills than these because of how high it is. Now it's only like, I imagine, I don't actually know the concrete numbers, but I imagine it's like 10 or 15% higher chance to proc skills. What's most important is that I do have Shooting for Victory, which is Taiki's unique, so it's a much stronger version of Shooting for Victory. I also have Redshift off of my Borrow. I've got right-handed. Maverick, I just had points. I bought it not because I thought it was going to work, but because I had points that were going to go to waste. So I do have right-handed, giving me just a flat bit more speed. So I guess you could say I could compete with the other two, because the other two do not have speed. So that may be how I was able to bridge my lack of stats. It may have been the right-handed here. I have Mile Maven. I had no stopping me from the end of the campaign. I had Double Circle in Mile Straightaway and Double Circle in Pace Chaser Corners. Head On also arrived, so I have acceleration here. I think this is Maneuver, which also technically has acceleration. A Ramp Up is Velocity, and I think Mile Maven is Velocity, but I could be wrong. It might actually be Excel. I would like to get better at racing moving forward from here, so be a bit more confident in what I'm talking about in the future. Okay, it's a velocity skill. And then, of course, my hope is that Redshift and Shooting for Victory will both work. Redshift provides a lot of acceleration, and Shooting for Victory applies target speed and acceleration. I think the target speed is 0.45, which is crazy. Now this is someone that I was worried about, however I realized that they're Mile A. Were this Fujikiseki Mile S, I think I would have lost to this, but again, the wit is quite low. Power and speed is great, but the wit is low, so if the skills didn't proc, then what can you really do? I also don't know whether this skill is good. I don't think it is, but I don't know too much about the uniques outside of the basic. It is interesting that she is S rank, so I saw the S rank and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's over for me. Now here's my Nice Nature. This wasn't built for the CM, this is a recycled old Nice Nature. But what's most important though is that her wit is at 1k, so she has about the same percent chance that Taiki would to proc all her skills. Obviously she's not going to have the stamina to be able to go through. I think in Aoharu, it's a lot easier to create debuffers, but getting the debuff skills is harder, so you end up still doing URA finale scenario for creating debuffers, I think. Namely because it's so important that you get the skills. So for me, what's most important is that we have no end closers. There's late, pace, and front. And thankfully for me, I got front, I got pace, I got late, and I got all-seeing eye. So this is a stamina drain. These are velocity drains. And these are fatigue drains. And yeah, that's about it. In terms of that, that's about it. Mile C, so it's not like she's going to keep up with everyone. However, debuffs should still do what they're supposed to do, especially at the end. I think what was most important is having all-seeing eye hit, startle everyone late race. Even if it doesn't really hit the velocity, losing stamina would mean that the UMA would calculate to do their final sprint later on, because it's calculating how much stamina it has. If they barely make the cut, they're not going to sprint the entirety of the final leg. Alright, here we go, it's Marzensky. Mile S, I was fairly worried. However, the stamina is 650, and the wit is also 650, so I was wondering whether or not it would actually work. But most importantly, the reason why I think the Spartanunchi's speed didn't win is there is no angling and scheming. There's no groundwork and there's no angling and scheming. So while I was originally worried about this, I looked at the skills and I thought, there is a pretty good chance that I will still be able to do this, because I'm unsure if she's going to be able to capitalize on being the front runner here. And then of course you got Samantha here. With Marzinski as well. Marzinski's great because it has her actual one. I debated this unique and then I decided against it on my Taiki shuttle to get more points into the other Excel conditions. So I think I made the right choice. She doesn't have Mile S, so I think for some reason I guess Taiki had similar speed. It could simply have been shooting for victory, which is the reason why I was able to win. But we'll see when the race happens. Rushing Gale. I sincerely wish I had an LB1 Rico. I do not. So future CMs, I'm going to have to see what I'm going to do about that. Rushing Gale does seem great because it's an acceleration on the straight. What sucks though is that I think this isn't that good because it could proc at a time where the acceleration doesn't do anything. She's got corner, she's got straightaway adept, she's got Professor Curvature. Now that the game is kind of like further along, I don't think Curvature is as good anymore. But she doesn't have any other stat boosts. At the end, her stamina is quite low. Her stamina is low enough that I think my nice nature may have drained her between the what's it called? Between all seeing eyes, also the subdued front runners. It is possible that I may have run out of speed. Next one is Vodka. This is my Vodka. As you can see, power is great, wit's terrible, Mile S. Speed's and stamina is barely passing, so it probably wasn't going to happen. She does have Let's Pump Some Iron, so I don't actually know if it procced within the tournament. But this was like my very first attempt at creating a late surger. And I believe this was before I got the Nice Nature Wit card. So here we are. It's got corner recovery, straightaway recovery, late surger corners. Should have been double circle, but it is what it is. I didn't know better. And finally, we got Diamond Scarlet. I did sweat a little bit, but then I realized she wasn't Mile S, so even though she's pace, I think my Taiki shuttle would outpace her. She does have Resplendent Red Ace, which requires her to be first. Sky High Tail Step's a great one, and I don't think Flashy Landing usually procs, and even if it does proc, I think the original unique is a lot stronger than the inherited version, so I wasn't worried that much. And I noticed that it was Summer Runner. Summer Runner, it's fall, so the buff doesn't matter here. And that was about all I had. So this is everything that happened. Let's do that and go right ahead, I suppose, right? So as you can tell, this Taiki shuttle was newly made. Nothing, no runs. Park was mile and mile. One part of it was all mile, and I think I had 2 mile on here as well. So quite the spread. And I used Rico. I do kind of regret it. It may have been better for me to borrow a MLB Rico and then use my ticket as well as my star piece to get my current fine motion from LB1 to LB3 and use that instead. I may have fared better. I may have had a higher statted Taiki shuttle, but regardless, the ends justify the means. The other thing I did notice was timing-wise, I did seem to have a better time than my opponents. Like, only once did they end at 130, whereas my vodka did end at 130 here, 130 here, 130 here. So I thought I had a relatively decent chance of things going my way. We'll let it rock.
この大舞台を勝ち抜き栄冠をつかむのはどの馬娘か。バルゴ杯決勝。このレース最も人気を集めているのは天皇賞馬娘6番マルゼンスキー1番人気です。続く2番人気はダービー馬娘1番ウォッカ。注目のここまで無敗2大マイル戦覇者待機シャトル3枠3番での出走。
火花散らすデッドヒートに期待しましょう。
各馬娘ゲートに入って体勢整いました。さあゲートが開いた。各馬娘綺麗なスタートを切りました。
みんな集中してましたね。好レースが期待できそうです。
6番マルゼンスキーと7番マルゼンスキー、この2人が競り合っているぞ。6番マルゼンスキー快調に飛ばして行きます。先頭は6番マルゼンスキー単身で飛ばして行きます。2番手の位置で先頭を伺うのは7番マルゼンスキー1番ウォッカ。落ち着かない様子。さあ花に立ったのは6番マルゼンスキー。このままリードすることができるか。続いて7番マルゼンスキー、そしてその外から行ったのはダイバースカーレット待機シャトル追走。5番手に富士奇跡、あとは1番ウォッカ。内には菱明物。第6コーナーを進んで直線へ向かう。
ここからスパート。一気にレースが動きます。
さあいよいよ直線だ。どのタイミングで誰が仕掛けるのか。まだ1馬身以上の差があるぞ。
Are you ready? ここから本当の真剣勝負で。
待機シャトル前を狙っているぞ。気持ちよく逃げている。6番マルゼンスキーじりじり詰める待機シャトル。待機シャトル抜け出しました。これから坂、2側の舞台はこれから坂が。6番マルゼンスキー追いすがる待機シャトル。速い速い、もはや独走状態。200を通過。強い強い待機シャトル。リードは2馬身。先頭は依然
フルスロットルでぶっちぎるぜ。
勝ったのは待機シャトル。他の馬娘たちをねじ伏せレースを制した。勝ったのは待機シャトル。最後のレースを見事に勝ちバルゴ杯の栄冠をつかみました。2着は6番マルゼンスキー、3着に入ったのは1番ウォッカ。
次のレースもまたの開けます。
Alright, and that's the race. As you could see, my nice nature did debuff about 5 times. I do think that the early stamina drain did matter for Samantha's Umas. In Group A finals, I wouldn't have brought a debuffer, but I knew that I was in Group B, so it may have been to my betterment to have a debuffer. So, with that said, we ended up with Dobbin. And then I had my vodka right behind, and then so what made me feel good was that if Taiki Shuttle didn't win, I would have still gotten second, and I would have been almost a full length ahead of Samantha. So I have no regrets with how I played it. I have no regrets bringing Nice Nature. Even if I ended up getting second, it did its job. Like, having Nice Nature allowed me to have this scenario where vodka would have beat Maruzensky. I did notice one thing, that Redshift procced early, and then when we got to the final straight, shooting for victory happened because I believe I was third, which is the bottom condition for having shooting for victory to work. No stopping me hit immediately while the way was blocked. Then head-on happened as well. And yeah, so we had shooting for victory, no stopping me, as well as head-on. I think the combination of those three proccing allowed me to get to where I needed to. This is Virgo, I think. Virgo CM. Okay, there you go. Virgo CM. Excellent. I do think that if this Marzensky had angling and scheming, the game would have been over. As for the other two, I think the difference was simply not having Mile S. Due to the fact that we all hit the power and guts threshold, me having Mile S, I think, contributes to it. I'm not sure if Mile S only does the base, which is 967 plus the right-handed, but that is exactly where we are and where we've been. Yeah. All right. I'm rather surprised. I'm happy to have gotten first, especially given that this was all done during my trip in Japan. I did not have a lot of time to create anything. In fact, now that I'm done with this, let me show you what the win rates look like for this event. So runner history wise, I had a blocker Marzensky at some point. I tried having Ogre Cap. I didn't place that well. The person that I kept with the entire, basically all of the races was Vodka. And then, of course, you have Taiki Shuttle that got first place in one race. That's all that mattered at that point. I tried a different Marzensky, realized that the stamina meant that this was an absolute no-go. She did win once, but man, was it bad. This was worse. So, I did get one cheeky win here, and probably due to London A's hidden. I had El Condor Pasa, who won a few as well. However, I eventually went from this Ogre Cap to this Ogre Cap with this El Condor Pasa to this Taiki Shuttle. So that's kind of how it went. Whereas the number one consistent was Vodka. I ran 70 races with her. She did late surger things. And I'm not looking forward to how often I'm going to be playing late surgers, because the style is very, very gambly. And then, of course, I had Nice Nature. So I think in the upcoming CM, if I have my way, I am probably going one ace, one hybrid, and one debuffer, and seeing how well we can do from there. If money needs to be spent for the name of science and trying things out, I will do so. Here's hoping that building it will be fine, because I know with Taiki Shuttle, I was able to get Mile S on that final run of mine, attempting to make a Taiki Shuttle. There's an alternative universe where I did not get Mile A, and I probably would not have won, given what I have. Either way, so that is the CM. Let me make sure that I've shown everything. And yep, that's it. And our winner right here, shooting for victory, Redshift, right-handed, Maverick. Ramp up, no stopping me, Mile Maven. Mile straightaways, double circle. Pace chaser corners, double circle. Head on. And yeah, this could have been better. I am quite happy that I pulled for Nice Nature. The wood card is coming in handy quite well. Quite well. Can't complain. As for this vodka, it's old. It's a URA Finale vodka. However, I think Virgo CM is the first time that I've used her. I don't recall using her in a different CM. I may have used her in a different CM. This Alcondor Pasa, I believe, also is URA Finale. Yep. It's quite old. What's most important is that Plancha is at level 6, which I thought was pretty funny. Yep, and we're here. If it had Mile S, it would be even funnier, but it does not. It is what it is. Okay, and with all that said, that was Virgo Cup. I'm glad I was able to showcase this on stream because last time I lost my opportunity to do so. I think I did capture footage of it, but I don't think I actually had footage of the race. It is what it is. Alright, so with that being said, I don't have time to do anything else here on stream. It is the 26th, and digital disappears on the 28th. I will be pulling for digital, and then I will be waiting a little bit before I pull for this, and I'll be skipping this. I'll be skipping both of these two, I believe. Like 100cc seems pretty good on an uphill. We need like it's an uphill skill, so it's not universe. Not like On Your Left from Nice Nature, which is just universally a good card for late surgers, so I may skip this. I'm also not like the biggest Tamamo or Zenrob Zoe fan. I do like Tamamo Cross in Cinderella Grey, but I don't really know her in the Uma Musume game. As for Zenorob Roy, I just know she has glasses and she looks like Neon from EK. That's about all I have. I definitely do want to get Agnes Digital. It's pretty funny. It's so funny what they did with her, and I'm happy that she's in the game. I've got 10 days left here in this event. And unlike the previous events, we absolutely need to hit 1 million points. So I guess the cue is I'll need to grind about 100 points a day, which does scare me a bit in comparison to some other things that I've done. But we'll make the best of it. Alright, so with that being said, technically I am sick. I have a sore throat. I'm not entirely sure what I should be doing here. But yeah, we'll let the chips roll as they may. And yes, once again, my name is Ain, A-I-N, and I am out. I hope you have a lovely rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.